Hi, good morning. Well, let's get started with today's session. On today's agenda, we're going to recap on the structure strategies that we saw the last two sessions, and we're going to do some practice. I'll show you new structure strategies along with some structure practice, and we're going to finish the session with some reading strategies along with some reading practice. Okay, so as we've been working on the last session, here are some sentences which you need to read and identify if the questions are correct or incorrect. Okay, so we have 10 questions. I'll give you about 3 minutes to answer, and then I'll share the answer key with you. Okay, well, let's check the answers. Okay, sentence one is correct. Sentence two, incorrect. because it is missing a subject. The subject could be she went. Number 3, incorrect, because there's a double verb. We have were grown and were harvested. There should be only one. Number 4, correct. Number 5 is correct too. Number 6, incorrect. There's a verb missing. It could be is in the shopping mall. Number 7, correct. Number 8, incorrect, because it is missing a subject, which could be he threw. Number 9, incorrect. There's a double subject. We have construction and it. And number 10, correct. Now, this type of exercises will be more like the ones you will see on the TOEFL test. Okay, so this is a recap on the 5 strategies that we have studied so far regarding structure. So, again, I'll give you about 3 to 4 minutes per section. Here, there's 2 questions only, but on the next one, we have 7. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's check the answers. Question 1B, 2A, 3A, 4D, 5C, 6C, 7A, 8B, 9D, 10A. Good, now so far we have been studying sentences with only one clause, like simple sentences. But we know that many sentences in English have multiple clauses, and these two might cause confusion. As we saw before, a clause needs a subject and a verb to be considered complete. So make sure that every clause in a sentence has a subject and a verb. Check if the clauses are correctly joined, if they make sense, if they are coherent one with the other. Now, one way of connecting these clauses is by using coordinating connectors. However, we must make sure that these connectors are joining the sentences in a coherent way. And always keep in mind that each clause needs a subject and a verb. The coordinating connectors that we could use are and, but, or, yet, and so. These are coordinating conjunctions. Let's see an example. Tom is singing and Paul is dancing. If you see, I have here a sentence with two clauses. Tom is singing, subject with verb. Paul is dancing, subject and verb. And they are joined with the coordinating conjunction and. This sentence is coherent and is balanced because it's describing abilities, what ability they're doing or practicing. One is singing, one is dancing. Let's see number 2. Again, I have a sentence with two clauses. Tom is tall, subject and verb. Paul is short, subject. Paul is my verb. And these are joined with the conjunction but. The connector is correctly used because but shows a contrast. One is tall, but the other is short. I shouldn't use the connector and, like in this case, because this sentence is showing contrast, is showing opposites. Let's look at this example. Tom must write subject and verb, the letter, or connector. Paul will do it. The conjunction or shows options. That's why this is correctly used. Tom told a joke, subject and verb. Paul laughed, subject and verb. The connector so shows a consequence or an effect. Because Tom told a joke, Paul laughed. That's why we use so. And finally, Tom is tired, subject and verb. He is not going to sleep, subject and verb. I'm using the connector yet. That is very similar to but is contrasting. He's tired, yet he's not going to sleep. Okay? And this is how sentences are structured using coordinating conjunctions. We will have coordinating conjunctions and, but, or, so, and yet, joining two clauses, subject and verb, she laughed, but subject and verb, she wanted to cry. When we have the coordinating conjunction or connector in the middle, you must always look for the comma. Tom is singing, comma, and Paul is dancing. Tom is tall, comma, but, comma, or, comma, so, comma, yet. Let's do this exercise. It says each of the following sentences contains more than one clause. Check if the sentences are correct and incorrect. Let's do the first two together. Number one, we have the software should be used, subject and verb, on a laptop computer, comma, my clue, and this computer is a laptop, subject and verb. That's why this sentence is correct. Let's see number two. Let's see why it is incorrect. It says, the rain clouds can be seen, subject and verb, in the distance, comma, my clue, but no has fallen. I have a verb with no subject. That's why this sentence is incorrect. Let's see number three. They are trying to sell their house, comma. It has been on the market for 2 months. What am I missing? Remember? Comma and, comma but, comma or. There is no conjunction. So this sentence is incorrect. Okay? So I'll give you 2 minutes to answer the rest of the sentences and then we'll check all together. Let's check the answers. Now we already checked number 3, so we'll go straight to number 4. Number 4 is incorrect because the connector is misplaced. It should be the quality So I changed. Here. So I changed and not at the beginning. Number 5, correct. Number 6, incorrect. It is missing the subject, which could be yet, it is. Number 7, correct. Number 8, correct. Number 9, incorrect. The connector is misplaced. It should be you can drive, comma, or you can get. And finally, number 10, incorrect. It is missing a connector, which could be so he flew, right after the comma. Now we have other adverb connectors, such as ones that show a condition, like all of these ones: if, in case, provided, unless, whether. Now pay attention to these two ones, to these two words. They might cause confusion because they can be taken as the verb. So be attentive to these two words in sentences. Other words that show contrast is although, even though, while, whereas. Connectors that show manner or a way, as, in that, and connectors of place, where or wherever. If you see, there is no comma here. Bob went to school even though he felt sick. Anytime I come across with these connectors, the comma is only used when the connector is used at the beginning of the sentence. Even though Bob fell sick, comma, he went to school. So it's really important to remember that comma is used before and, but, yet, or, and so. But there is no comma before these connectors. Okay? Let's practice. Each of the following sentences contains more than one clause. Let's identify if the sentences are correct or incorrect. Number 1, it says, it is impossible to enter the program. It is, that's my subject verb. If you lack experience as a teacher, you lack, subject verb. I have a connector if, therefore I don't need a comma. Let's see number 2. The commandant left strict orders about the passes. Subject, verb. Comma, several soldiers left the post anyway. Why is this sentence incorrect? Well, even though I have such subject, verb, there is no connector, nor at the beginning, nor uh, nor at the beginning, nor in the middle. That's why this sentence is incorrect. Okay? Well, I'll give you 3 minutes for this exercise, and then we'll check the answers all together. Okay, let's check the answers. Okay, number 3. This sentence is incorrect because it is missing a verb. It could be unless he or she meets. Number 4, correct. Number 5, incorrect because it is missing a subject, which could be wherever you need. Number 6 is correct. Number 7, incorrect. It is missing a verb, which could be your application is. Number 8, incorrect. It is missing a comma. Explained, comma, all visitors. Number 9, correct. And number 10 is correct too. So let's integrate the strategies that we have practiced. Paying attention to two clauses, making sure that the two clauses have subject and verb. Look for the connector, which be coordinating connector or other. Remember to look for the comma in the correct place when we are using connectors. And, but, or, so, yet need a comma before. However, words like if, although, whereas, etc. only need a comma between clauses when they are used at the beginning of sentences. Okay? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes again to answer this exercise, and then we will check the answers together. Okay, so let's check. Number 1 is correct. Number 2, incorrect. There's an unnecessary connector. We can omit or. Number 3, incorrect. It is missing a verb, which could be a problem occurred. Number 4, incorrect. There's an incorrect connector. It should be as soon as. Number 5 is correct. Number 6, incorrect. It is missing a connector, which could be so the king has not returned. Number 7, correct. Number 8 is correct. Number 9, incorrect. It is missing a subject, which could be while it is. Number 10, incorrect. Okay, let's talk about time and cost connectors. Let's see this, and let's analyze these sentences. I will sign the check before you leave, and before you leave, I will sign the check. You might come across this type of questions too with these sentences. We've already learned to identify subject and verb, the use of commas, and the use of connectors. So you might come across with this type of questions in the TOEFL test, like this one. I was late. I missed the appointment. What is missing? Well, a connector and a subject. I cannot say because was late or I was late, comma, I missed the appointment. The train was late, I missed the appointment. The correct would be since he was late, I missed the appointment. These are some time and cost connectors. Like their names say, they show time, moments like sequence, and causes. And we have all of this. After, as long as soon as, before, by the time, when, whenever, etc. Or we can have as, because, now that, since, inasmuch as. Now, what is the structure of a sentence with these connectors? Well, again, subject verb, connector, subject verb. And same as the connectors we saw before, these only need a comma when the adverb connector is used at the beginning. Teresa went inside because it was raining. Or because it was raining, comma, Teresa went inside. Now, each of these sentences contain more than one clause. Underline the subjects. We will not do that. We will just check if the sentences are correct and incorrect. Let's see the example. Since the bank closes in less than an hour, comma, the deposits need to be tallied immediately. I have my connector since, therefore the comma goes in the middle. Then I have subject verb, subject verb. The sentence is correct. Let's see number 2 and let's analyze why it is incorrect. Their backgrounds are thoroughly investigated before are admitted. What's missing? Well, the subject. Their backgrounds are thoroughly investigated before they are admitted to the organization. Okay? So again, I will give you 3 minutes to answer these sentences and then we will check together. Okay, so let's check the answers. Okay, so we already reviewed 1 and 2. Let's go straight to number 3. Number 3 is correct. Number 4, incorrect. It is missing a connector, which could be after the ground had been prepared. Number 5 is correct. Number 6, incorrect. It is missing a verb, which could be the building is. Number 7, incorrect. It is missing the subject, which could be it can be sent. Number 8, correct. Number 9, correct. Number 10, incorrect. It is missing a comma. Okay, so let us integrate the skills that we have seen today about the classes. Yes, this is what the TOEFL test would look like, and we have 10 questions. Yes, so I will give you 3 minutes for this one. I'll give you 1 minute for the first 4, and then 3 minutes for the following ones, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so let's check the answers. We have 1D, 2D, 3C, 4B, 5D, 6B, 7C, 8D, 9B, and 10D. Okay, let's do a final review exercise. Again, we have 10 of these. I'll give you 1 minute for the first section and 2 minutes for the second one. You can start now. Okay, so let's check the answers. We have number 1, C, number 2, B, number 3, C, number 4, C, 5, A, 6, D, 7, C, 8, B, 9, D, and 10, A. Okay, so let's move on. As it was mentioned in the agenda, today we're also going to look into some reading strategies. And specifically, we're going to talk about and discuss text organization. Now, there will be questions in TOEFL text about how the organization is organized. How the information is organized. So it is important to pay close attention to the details in the paragraphs. This is an example of the TOEFL test, an example question. And this is what a passage would look like. There's going to be shorter and longer passages. Remember that the exam is organized from easy to difficult questions. So the first questions might include just a paragraph or short texts like this one. And the question will look something like this. In this passage, an idea is presented and then refuted. A concept is followed by examples. A cause is followed by an effect. Or a belief is supported with reasons. Now, the author will always give you clues about how the text is organized. Okay? For example, if it will be the answer letter C, then there will be keywords that show you effects or consequences. Same as with letter D, the author will give you clues, will give you words and phrases that show reasons. Like in this one, it says, an idea is presented and then refuted, which is the correct answer. What do I have to do? Well, I need to pay attention to the first sentence in each paragraph. Remember that those first sentences give me the topic sentence or the most important idea of the paragraph. In this case is, if asked who invented the game of baseball, most Americans will probably reply that it was their belief that Abner Doubleday did. The first one says that this person invented baseball. The second paragraph says, Doubleday was given credit for this invention early in the 20th century. Next paragraph. Today, most sports historians are in agreement that Doubleday really did not have much to do with the development of baseball. An idea is presented and then refuted. Let's practice. I have, hold on, because I remembered that I had like how to identify these type of questions. Give me a minute. Here it is. I'm sorry, I guess I forgot to include this slide, but I'll present it. Now, how can I identify this question? Whether you do the TOEFL text on paper or on computer, the questions would look like this. How is the information in the passage organized? How is the information in the second paragraph related to the information in the first paragraph? Now, where can you find the answer? The answer to this type of questions can generally be determined by looking at the first sentence of the appropriate paragraph. If we take the example of this question, how is the information in the second paragraph related to the information in the first paragraph? Then I should focus my attention in the first and second paragraphs. Now, how to answer this question? Again, read the first line of each paragraph. Look for words that show relationship among paragraphs, like an effect is, a consequence was, the result, as an example, etc. And then choose the best answer. Okay, let's practice. Let's look at the questions first. It says, what type of information is included in the first paragraph? So my attention should be on the first one. And then it says, click on the paragraph that describes the application of IQ in the real world. Now here, I should focus my attention on the words IQ and real world. Hold on, I skipped this one. Okay, we'll go to this one and then I'll go back to questions 1 and 2. So let's see. Let's analyze what type of information is included in the first paragraph. So as my strategy said, read the first sentence. IQ or intelligence quotient is defined as the ratio of a person's mental age to chronological age, with the ratio multiplied by 100 to remove the decimal. What is it? Is it an argument? Is it something that the author is defending? A definition? An opinion? Does the author express what he or she thinks? Or is it a theory? An idea that hasn't been proven? Well, in this case, the correct answer is letter B, a definition. And then click on the paragraph that describes the application of IQ in the real world. So I will scan my text and I see that the word IQ is here. And then let's see if I can find some words that relate to the real world. I scan through my text to find keywords that tell me that this is applied in the real world. And then I can determine that the correct answer is this one. Paragraph 3 here is that culture, different culture, yeah, applications in the real world. Go back to this one. Let's look at my question. How is the information in the passage organized? And again, click on the paragraph or choose a paragraph that supports the view that organizational conflict can be beneficial. And again, read the first sentence in each paragraph to determine how is the information organized. It says, the origin of ideas is presented, contrasting views are presented. Contrasting means opposite. Two theories discuss the strengths and weaknesses, or examples are presented. Okay, so let's check. Number 1 is letter B. Contrasting views are conflict. If you see, I have keywords like on the other hand, meaning that is opposite. And number 2 is paragraph 3. This one. Positive changes to occur, meaning that is beneficial. Let's see this one. Let's look at the questions first. How is the information organized? Two unusual characteristics are discussed. Contrasting theories, meaning opposite. The processes in which the Great Salt Lake gets salt, or the reasons for the variations. Question 6. Choose a paragraph that explains where the Great Salt Lake gets its salt. Okay, so let's check the answers. And the correct answers are letter A. Two unusual characteristics are described. As if we see the first one tells me about the Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake. And then here it says, although the Great Salt Lake is fed by fresh water, it is saltier than the oceans in the world. The Great Salt Lake can vary tremendously from its normal size, depending on long-term weather conditions. It doesn't really tell me anything about theories or the processes or the reasons of the variation. It does explain me that, but only in one paragraph, not in both. And number 6, the answer is paragraph 2. Yes, it's actually saltier. Why? It says here, comes from 2 million tons of minerals that flow into the lake. Okay, so let's integrate the two strategies that we've seen so far from reading, which is finding the main idea or main topic and identifying text organization. Yes, like this one. Find the main idea and how is the information organized. In both of these type of question, we should pay attention to the first sentence of each paragraph, okay? So do that. Focus on the first sentences in the paragraph and then decide what the best answer is. Okay, the correct answers are 1C, different calendars have dissimilar bases. And number 2B, two types of calendars are described. Now, if you analyze, these two questions are closely related. Different calendars, two types of calendars. And I can see sentence 1, common types of calendars can be based on the sun or on the moon. The solar calendar is based on the solar year. Paragraph 2, the lunar calendar is synchronized to the lunar month rather than the solar year. That confirms that two types of calendars are described and that the different calendars have different bases. Let's see the questions first. Which of the following expresses the main idea of the passage? How many types of vaccines are presented in the passage? Choose a paragraph that discusses vaccines made from dead organisms. This is my keyword. These are my keywords. And number 6, click on the paragraph, choose a paragraph that discusses vaccines that do not contain the disease-causing microorganism. Okay, so let's check the answers. We have question 3C, that is, vaccines are derived in different ways. Let's see the first line in each paragraph. Vaccines are prepared for harmful viruses or bacteria. The most basic class of vaccines contains disease-causing microorganisms that have been killed. A second type of vaccine, a final type of vaccine. So it's explaining me like the different types of vaccines and um, how they're made. Question 4B. 3 types of vaccine. Look, the most basic class, that is 1. A second type, number 2. A final type, number 3. Number 4, we already discussed. Number 5 is paragraph 2. This one. It says microorganisms that have been killed. That means from dead microorganism. Yes, microorganisms are dead, it says here. And number 6 is paragraph 3. Paragraph 3, it says, contains living microorganisms that do not contain disease-causing microorganisms that have been rendered harmless. No, sorry, it's number 3, paragraph 3, this one. It says, contain the toxins produced by the microorganism rather than the microorganism itself. Okay, so we are all finished for today. On the next session, we will continue practicing reading strategies, and we'll include as well some listening strategies. I hope that these tips have been useful to you and apply them. Yes, remember that reading, when working with reading, we don't have to read the whole text with a lot of detail. It will depend a lot on the type of question. For main idea questions and organization question, focus on the first line of the text, on the first sentences in each paragraph. Then focus on keywords in the question, like we saw in the ones of like the vaccines and the one of the calendars. And if you apply those strategies, you'll feel more confident on where to find the information. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.